Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast.
Got it.
All right, guys, we got Joe from Feed the Obsession. Man, look, we met this guy up at the World Deer Expo about 2 weeks ago. Super awesome guy. I know him and JD have been constantly just talking and, having long late night conversations. So we're going to dive into that. But what's going on, man? How's everything going with y'all?
Not much, man. Things are going good. I'm down here in Florida, back at home, and it's hotter than hell right now. But this right now, we had a break in the weather because you know how summertime is down here. You can set your watch by if it's raining or it's fixing to rain. That must be about 3 o'clock.
Yep.
But it's actually been quite nice. So I took the Harley out for a ride, and it's been good weather today.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, we actually just had a storm, a pretty decent one come through probably about an hour ago. Me and my daughter, I went to go pick her up from school, and I saw it going in, and I was like, all right, I got to beat that. And as soon as I get there, the skies just open up. So I'm running inside. She comes out. She comes running down the hall. I grab her. We run from the front door to the van. I just throw her in the van, and I'm like, all right, let's get it. And I swear it was like we were in a tornado, man. It was stupid windy, super rainy. She's over there worrying about our cat that's outside that I never found. She's probably hunkered down somewhere. So
She'll be back.
Oh, I know. She always comes back, man. It's just, my daughter's only 8. So she's, she worries about like literally everything. So
Right.
It's all good. But look, why don't you tell us like kind of what got you into hunting, what Feed the Obsession is? Because we didn't really get to touch on it much at the show. And
No, didn't. JD and I did when we did the podcast there at the show. And the thing is with FTO, like I'm born and raised right here on the edge of Lake George, which is the second biggest lake in Florida. So as other kids were growing up, they were partying and doing other shit and everything. I don't have a filter, so if you need me to watch it, I'll watch it.
Oh, you're good. You're all good.
I never did that. Like I was a hustler growing up. Like I was always either on the lake. I worked a full-time job during high school because I had the co-op, and then during the summertime, I'd work full-time, come home, take a couple hour nap, and I get up and I go gig fish all night. So, and then I'd come back and then I'd sell the fish the next day and do it all again the next night. So that's where, like, I've always been in the outdoors, and it's always been a passion of mine. And then that kind of what threw me into the military aspect of, I was like, I wanted to be special operations. So I was like, all right, so what do we do? And when I retired, it was just me how FTO come about. My dad was drafted for NAM and got drafted. We didn't find out that I had a brother until 2019, and found out I had a brother at the end of 2019 and found out he went to film school. And he was like, hey, I've talked to Dad. He told me that you hunt and everything. And I went to film school. So if you film your hunts, send them to me and I can edit them down for you. And that's really how FTO come about. It was actually extremely interesting how we came to fruition. And then after that, it's just been one thing after another.
Oh, yeah.
So my brother-in-law is over here messing with me right now. But that's how everything came to fruition. And it just started out as a group of me and a few friends, just trying to share our hunting experiences and our outdoor experiences with everybody and teaching people stuff. And like I told JD, one of the founding pillars was getting kids off the phone and off the video games, getting them outside. When I grew up, we didn't have cell phones when I grew up. We didn't have the technology that we had today. He's such a prick. And it's that's the thing that like I was telling JD, that technology is great in certain aspects, but it really dumbs down a society when everybody's always on their phone. Like, I'm pretty sure in that episode that we did at the show, I mean, I could look around and every single person that was around us was on their phone. You know, it's like,
me included.
It's crazy. And, you know, I'm guilty of it too. You know, all of us are. Maybe not my dad. My dad refuses to get on the phone. And then he's like, well, why don't you call me? It's like, because you never answer it. So it's like, but it's one of them things. It's like, if we get kids in the outdoors, it teaches them literally a life surviving skill to where they can hunt for their own food. They know how to grow their own food. They know how to survive in a harsh environment. And in today's terms, man, I'm telling you, the next 3 to 5 years, you don't know where the hell we're going to be.
Oh yeah. So, ain't that, you know, true?
I don't wear that for nothing. So
hell yeah, brother.
It's we got to look at it in that aspect. You know, you got to look at it like, what are we leaving our kids? And truthfully, now that, you know, I was telling JD that we started the company after we went to Colorado. Went there for MAF, the Mountain Archery Fest. They reached out to us and was like, hey, come out, film, we'll do interviews and everything. And dude, I had HHA and Cutter Stabilizers and everybody. They was like, hey man, you know, we'll do this, we'll do that. And they started talking monetaries. And I'm like, I came home, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to start a company. So that's really how FTO come about. But I mean, seriously, our biggest thing is the kids in the outdoors. You know, I mean, it's absolutely incredible the amount of, I wouldn't say the fan base, but the recognition and the reputation that we have, you know. So if I tell you, or if FTO tells you we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And hands down, that's what we do. Like, I'm a firm believer in the old ways. Like, if I give you my word, I'm going to keep my word. And if I can't, there's a damn good reason why I can't.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what FTO is about. You know, we're about getting the kids in the outdoors. We're about training, showing people how to do things. You know, I've actually, the guy's name is Shaq. And Shaq, if you watch this is for you. He actually reached out to me 2 years ago, and he's in New York, like New York City, like very city, but he started watching, and he reached out to me. He called me because he got my number off their social media and everything. He called me and I was like, hey, you know, and he's like, is this Joe? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, dude, everything I've learned about hunting has been from you guys. Dude, he's in the archery. Now he's building his own arrows. Like, the guy's doing awesome. And he's a great guy. We have yet to meet face to face. He was supposed to meet me in Harrisburg this past year, but he didn't. He had to work or something came up, so he couldn't make it. But when he called and told me that, I was like, holy crap. Like, wow, you know, we're reaching all the way to New York City. I'm like, this is insane. And the fact that he took our tactics, he took our experience and everything and put it to, you know, twisted it to where it fit him, where he's at. And he's like, man, he's like, I truly appreciate y'all. And that right there, to me, that was worth everything. You know, it's like I reached one person and he was so far away. That just gives me more drive to keep going. So it's absolutely been incredible, you know, and I absolutely love it. And the people that I get to meet, and, you know, Hannah Barron and, you know, Seek One and, you know, Bubba Buck and all them guys. I mean, you guys seen my kid at the show.
Oh, he was killing it. He was hustling like I've never seen.
That kid is ate up with it, man. And he's going to take FTO very far when he gets it. Cause I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm doing this for you and your brother. So you graduate, you know, high school and go to college. When you graduate college, it's yours. And he both of my boys have a natural knack for this. Like, they live and breathe this. Like, we just got home from dinner, went, you know, my son wanted to go for a ride on the motorcycle. I've been riding all day. So he wanted to go for a ride. We went for a ride. We get here, he jumps off the bike. They're over there fishing right now. Like, Here, if I can turn this around, that's where they're at. They're over there fishing.
Living the dream, dude. That's awesome.
The fact that they are so ate up with fishing and hunting and the outdoors and everything the FTO is, and I don't have to force it to them. I don't have to tell them to, I don't have to push them to it or anything. Like, they're just naturally drawn to it. So that right there, to me, that's a victory.
Oh, for sure.
And I know, like, my oldest son, he's going to be telling his friends about it. He's going to be showing them. He's actually in Boy Scouts. He has done extremely well in Boy Scouts because he's already got this natural act for it. So
yeah,
that's pretty much what FTO is about, man. And truthfully, I'm enjoying this. I love our sponsors. Treason is our biggest sponsor, and they have been great to work with. But we got Odin's Bow Spider, and me coming into this, I didn't realize this, but there's so many other groups out there that was like us. But I think where we stood out is if I seen a product that I liked, I bought it.
Yeah,
I tried it out. I used it. And then if I liked it and it fit me and what we did, then I'm like, hey, I reached out to him like, look, I'm not asking for a freebie. I've already got it. I'm asking, what can we do to help each other? And seriously, that goes a long way. It's back to that old saying of it takes money to make money, and it's paid off.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the way we've always done things is, we don't ever ask anybody for handouts or freebies or anything like that, and I feel like that's the way to do it. And like touching on what you said about the kids, I took my daughter hunting for the first time last year, and you'll probably kill me for this, but she was on her iPad the whole time. But
that's where that place, because you got to be able to set these, but you got to be able to set these little shits in one spot for a long time and keep them occupied.
That's exactly why I did it.
Yep.
Because I knew, like, I didn't think we would see anything, and we didn't. I mean, I'd already been hunting that spot for like 2 months before I took her. So I overhunted it, and I know that. But I told her, I'm like, look, we can go, and we'll sit. I'll put some feed out because it's legal in Georgia, and I'm like, let's just see what happens. And she was like, can I bring my iPad? I was like, yeah, I guess that's fine. Because I know her well enough, obviously, that if I said no, we'd sit there for 30 minutes and she'd look at me like, I'm bored. Can I play on your phone? And it just, that's how the kids are these days. I mean, me and JD, man, we grew up without cell phones. My first electronic device was a Game Boy Color. Or actually, no, that's not true. It was a Sega Genesis.
I've never owned the video game.
I did get into them a little bit when I was younger. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, man, that's I think why I like so much about Feed the Obsession is that y'all do gear towards the kids getting involved in the outdoors, and that, I mean, if kids don't get into it, then once we're gone,
it's done.
It's over with. And they're already trying to get it where the kids don't do it. I saw something like 2 or 3 days ago where I think it was Biden passed something that is getting rid of like the archery programs and stuff in some schools.
He stopped the funding for schools that have archery programs and stuff.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go into politics on here because then that's going to be a very, very, very long episode. But it's the thing is, man, it's like it's not about the Second Amendment. It's not about this. It's about control and tyranny, and that's exactly what it's about. And if people don't wake up, dude, seriously, it's going to be fend for yourself, and you're going to find out what "don't tread on me" actually means.
Oh, 100%.
100%. Trust me, where I'm at, we're set. But the thing is, like, people don't understand that, and they focus all on these urban and suburbs and the cities and stuff like that, where it's heavily populated. And seriously, if you actually grab a real history book, not this shit that they're trying to teach nowadays in schools, but seriously, you ever heard the phrase history repeats itself?
Oh yeah.
Wake up. Like, seriously, that's where we're at. We're to a turning point right now. Like, literally, this election could be could be the end of the United States of how we've known and how we grew up with it. And, you know, I didn't bleed and lose brothers and sisters in arms for bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, somebody, because we got some son's crackhead that's, you know, wants to hide a laptop. Come on, man. It's like, pull your head out of your ass and let's go.
Yeah, so, I've been saying since all that stuff started, and like, I agree, I'm not going to make it political, but you know, when that whole thing went down in 2020, I knew I'm shocked it took them this long to start coming after hunting and, you know, outdoor stuff, but it just seems like people, and I honestly, I see a lot of people, you know, around that, like I'll talk to, because I travel for work a lot, and these conversations do come up. And a lot of the people I talk to are like, yeah, shit's hitting the fan. And it can't stay this way, because the way that things are going, not even just in the hunting world, but like in general.
Exactly.
It's gonna end up bad. And you know, I used to get stressed out and like worry about it, but now, you know, I'm kind of just like, look, I'll do my part. I'm giving the rest to God, and whatever his plan is, I can't argue that. So
that's it. Well, I don't know if you noticed, well, you've seen this one. We the people, I don't know if you've seen this one. Are pissed off.
Hell yeah.
There's a reason for that, man, because I mean, seriously, we could be so further along than we are right now. And that's the thing. It's like the way everything is right now, it is crazy. And, you know, politics is politics. Everybody's got their opinion. But the thing is, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, or independent. Pull together and let's show them, we the people, we own this country, not the government. The government don't own shit. They are our servants. They are a public service. They are elected by us to do a job for us. And people forgotten that. People think, oh, well, the government says this. Well, the government ain't going to say nothing if you stand up to them.
Yeah.
And that's the reason, honestly, that's one of the honest to God's reasons why they want to abolish the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment wasn't written for hunting. It wasn't written for you to shoot a deer. It was written for tyranny.
Yep.
And if you read the article, a well-regulated militia has the right to keep and bear arms. Where does it say hunting? If you want to kill a deer, you can have a firearm. No, that's not what it says. It's tyranny. It's to keep the government in check.
Yep.
And if you read a history book, I mean, look at Venezuela. Venezuela was the most recent one. I mean, they went communist and everything. Now look at them. You had some of their most wealthiest people. Now they're eating out of the garbage. Like, really? Is that where you want to push us to, or what? But enough about that. Like I said, you're gonna get me on the list. I'm gonna go, and because I've lived and breathed and I've bled for this country. You know, with 2 Purple Hearts, I've got it, and I've lost several of my comrades, and you know, we didn't do this for nothing. You know what I mean? So the silent majority will stand up eventually, but it shouldn't be pushed to that point.
I agree. And before we get into, you know, the hunting side of stuff, I just want to thank both of y'all for your service, because, you know, what you guys sacrificed and went through and all that, I wish I could do more to thank you guys other than just saying thank you. But, you know, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for guys like you. So you and JD, y'all are the shit. Y'all will, in my opinion, always hold my respect no matter what, because of the things you guys did. So I agree, man. I do. I think that, you know, something's got to change, and I'm sure it will. I have faith in that, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And
there ain't nothing in this world easy. If you want something, you got to go for it. And that's how it needs to be. But so let's get into the hunting side so I can get sidetracked with that.
Cool, man. Well, look, I want to know, you know,
I got a question real quick. You had talked about, you know, the you know, what feed the obsession, how it came about and all that kind of stuff. But to some of our listeners, is it video production or your main media thing?
We do a lot of our own media, obviously, but we also do y'all are pricks. But we do a lot of we actually have had, you know, and that's one thing that we're pushing this year and moving forward is, you know, somebody wants to hire us to come film a hunt for him. I got to go to Wisconsin this year. We met a guy at, where was he at? Lakeland. He was at the open season in Lakeland, and he owns a high fence hunting area in Wisconsin. So basically you just pick what animal you want and you're going to pay for it, but you're 99.9% guaranteed you're going to kill that animal.
Yeah.
And he wants us to come film his clients. So he put us in a package as, you know, like, here's what the package deal is, but if you want this to be filmed and produced and everything, then, and edited down, then this is, you know, it's an extra cost. So he's basically paying us, but they pay him for the experience, and then they get to take it home and they have it. And then we got a clause in there saying, hey, you know, do we get to do, you know, can we use this to show some of our production, you know, not necessarily to show their whole hunt, but show what we can produce and show what we're capable of. And that's where we're going this year and moving forward. And then on top of that, you know, I talked to JD about possibly, you know, cutting down on the shows. The one show we are 100% committed to is the Great American Outdoor Show in Pennsylvania. That it's, once you go to that show, you can't afford not to go to it. I mean, it's a long show. It's 9 days. So just times that by 100, what we did in Birmingham. Jeez. For 9 days.
Dude, I'd go insane.
Oh, dude, there was almost 2 million people that went to that show.
Oh my God. Yeah, that day was just hectic, man. Like, me and JD both were on the ride home just like zombies, like staring out the window, kind of talking a little bit back and forth. But I looked at him, I was like, dude, I'm tired. I was like, that was a lot.
Yeah, but you guys were only there for 1 day.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
And we did that every day, you know. And then in Pennsylvania, that show is absolutely incredible. It's actually hosted by the NRA.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
So it's, the NRA took it over a few years ago, and there was some speculation that the NRA wasn't doing as good as the previous people that had it and everything. But I think now they brought back the concerts and everything. Last year we had Brantley Gilbert there. And dude, it was a hell of a damn show, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
when is it?
A lot of fun. Huh?
When is it?
It's beginning of February in freaking Pennsylvania. It's cold as hell.
Yeah, we might make a trip.
But seriously, it's great. And if you guys could come up for like a weekend, I'm going to be starting, and I'll open this invitation to y'all. You know, if you guys want to come up and stay for a weekend, you know, I'll work something out with you guys with the Airbnb or whatever, and you guys can bunk with us for, you know, a couple of days, but at least you guys can walk around and see what okay. The first year I went there, I did the show by myself. So set up, tear down, and did the whole show by myself. It was crazy. But then I didn't realize when I got there, because I drove all night, got there, you know, at like 6:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. They wasn't open yet. And then I was like, you know what? There's a few things I do know I need. So I went and got them. And then I came back and they were open. And I pull in and it says the Great Exhibition Hall. And I'm like, it is pretty big. So I go in there and I'm looking, and it's rows 100, 200, 300, all the way to, you know, 900. And I'm like, how do they have these numbered? So I asked, you know, they got people that work there, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to find my booth. And he goes, well, what's your booth number? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to figure out how y'all got them numbered. Because I've been to some shows, you know, they do like 40, it'll be row 400, and one side's 100 through, you know, 199, and the other side is 4,200. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, my booth number is 4103. And he's like, you need to get in your truck. And I'm like, no, man. I was like, I'm good. And I'm like, I can carry it. He's like, no, you need to go through 2 more red lights and then turn in to get in. I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, dude, I was over a mile away from my damn spot. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, dude, this thing is massive. So there's 9 wings to this place. You got the great arena, you got the small arena, and you got 9 wings that branch off of it. And each wing is like, they have nothing but fishing in one spot. They have nothing but outfitters in another. They have nothing but like outdoor living in another. They have RVs and boats in another. Then they have the archery. Then they have the archery range. Like, it's massive, dude.
Wow.
So I went there and I was like, holy crap. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I'm like, I was like in shock and awe.
Yeah.
And the networking that you can do there is incredible. So it's a great time. The shows, besides that one, shows, like Birmingham. Birmingham this year, we had a good year.
Yeah, I mean, there was tons of people there. Just in
but
one
to
day.
but to be honest with you, shows are starting to dwindle down because now they're turning them, instead of an outdoor expo or a hunting expo, they're turning them into flea markets. And you get a bunch. I mean, there was 79 booths there that was selling apparel.
Yeah.
And you had, I don't know how many that was there. It was less than last year. Like, we call them flea market vendors. So there's nothing wrong with them people. And they're great people. Like, I really, truly enjoyed, talking to them. But when they got like a little $10 trinket and we're trying to sell a quality hunting product, people tend to go for the $10 trinket.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I bought something but that's not what the outdoor or the Whitetail Expo is supposed to be. It's supposed to be hunting, quality hunting products and stuff. It's a way for us to put our products and stuff out there. So I'm not committed to Birmingham yet. We did reserve our booth, but we're not 100% committed yet. And the reason is, Treason, one of my biggest sponsors, is there, and they're thinking about pulling out next year too. And if they do,
Wow.
I definitely am.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did notice that, man. Like, when we were walking around, so when we got there, we went ahead and kind of just scoped it out, saw who all was there. And I think I expected it to be like, I mean, I've never been to ATA, but I've seen videos of it. And I think I expected it to be like, every arrow brand was there, every bow brand would be there, all the camo, all that stuff. And what I really saw more of was like, ATV sales.
Yeah.
High fence outfitters, which, I mean, fine, I have nothing against it, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to go spend 20 grand to go kill a 400-inch whitetail that has been bred, but it just didn't seem like it was fun. I had a great time and I hope we can go again. I didn't see what I expected to see, I mean, I did see a lot of good brands up there, like y'all, Osseo, Treason, Seek One was out there, DCA, all of that, but it didn't really have the feeling of like
right
what I expected a show to be.
A few years ago it did. And that's the thing. It's like, now I think they're just trying to fill up booth spaces because, I mean, ATA was in trouble.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that.
Yeah, that was bad. So that's the thing that we're trying to do, is put the quality back into these shows. And I think the owners and everything of these shows need to realize that, like, hey, you're supposed to be the World Deer Expo. Not only that, this year there was they wasn't even a quarter of the mounts that was there compared to last year and the year before. It was.
I don't mean to cut you off. You got something funny behind you, walking behind you.
Yeah, it's my brother-in-law. So that's what happens when we all live on the family's homestead.
Man.
But
yeah, dude, I don't know. The show was fun, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, it felt like a lot of people, but even when we got there, Steven from Thoroughly Outdoors was like, man, I don't know if the turnout's going to be that good, because I heard that like tickets like $80, which I don't know where he got that from.
Well, that was somebody that told him, but the tickets wasn't $80. It was $20 for pre-register and then $25 at the door, where it used to be $10 and $15.
Oh.
So they raised that. And then on top of that, they raised our booth space. So, like next year, that's $1,400 for our booth. And I'm like, so that means we got to sell a third more of our product just to cover the booth space.
Yeah.
I saw some purses for sale there this year.
Those were satchels. They weren't purses.
Oh, no, there were some purses.
It's a satchel.
But they fit in because they were camo.
Right.
That's
so
better.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we need to be able to take that and be able to show the people who run these, like, hey, like, you need to bring the quality back to these shows. And I understand you can't help it. The convention centers raising their prices and stuff like that. Then obviously the exhibitors and everything's, we got to increase our prices on our booth space, which is fine. But it's a madhouse. And, that's the thing that we're looking at doing is possibly instead of taking that money and doing that, then maybe doing some different shows or possibly not doing but just the Great American Outdoor Show and then taking the rest of that money and investing it in other things that we need.
Yeah, you could take that money and go do like a Western muley hunt in Colorado or something and film that. Yep. So, I mean, you mentioned some of the product. Like, what is some of the product that you guys offer? I did come check it out, but with all the stuff going on, I barely even remember.
So we got, if you guys bow hunt, we got Bow Spider, which Bow Spider.
I want one of those so bad.
Dude, even just, get with me. I'll hook you up. But Bow Spider is literally, even just shooting in the backyard is a game changer. Like, you never have to put your bow on the ground or set it on the target or anything. It clips on your waist or on your backpack. Or if you get the harness, then you just wear the harness and just clip it on your back. One hand to pull it off. And you never have to worry about pulling your bow up from the ground when you're climbing a tree stand. It stays on your back the whole time. Like, it's a game changer. And then when I got with David Merle, the owner of Bow Spider, like he designed it and created it because he missed a bull of a lifetime. And it was because he had the sling on it and he couldn't get the sling off. And the bullet, he's like, nope. He goes, I got to come up with something no. So he designed it. Well, then he's never really hunted out east where, Midwest to the East Coast to where we primarily tree stand hunt. We still hunt. Out there are a lot of spot and stalk. Yep. So I saddle hunt. Well, the puck is a 2-piece puck. It's got 4 screws on it. So I took mine off and put it on the bridge and mounted it to the bridge. So now wherever I turn in the tree with that saddle, it stays there. My bow's with me all the time. I don't have to worry about pulling it off the tree or reaching up to the tree and pulling it off. It's right there beside me. So a lot less movement. So it's a great product. The more pucks you have, the more versatile it is. And then we got Odin's Innovations. They're the only scent like it on the market. It's 100% synthetic, 100% biodegradable, guaranteed to last 30 days in the field. It's waterproof, rain, snowproof. Like, we got deer sticking their foot of snow to get to the scrape. And now we got Dominant Buck, Doe and Estrus, Scrape Blend, apple, acorn, peanut butter, jelly donut, cherry pie. We started targeting black bear with it. It's phenomenal. And then
now you're just making me hungry.
What's that?
You're just making me hungry now.
I know. I was just thinking, I was like, let me get some of that just so I can have a little snack while I'm working.
Well, the thing is that nothing eats it. There's no nutritional value. It's all synthetic. It's an artificial scent put inside of a biodegradable bead. And it's infused all the way through. And the best part about having a scent that lasts 30 days is, for one, you only got to put it out once. You don't have to worry about taking it out there or refreshing everything. Like, it stays there constantly. And like the Doe and Estrus is the big thing because not all does are bred during that first rut.
Yep.
And when those does go out of estrus, that's when your bucks start roaming. They go to another property, they go to another area, they're looking for a doe to breed. So if you got scent that lasts for a long time, you're going to hold them bucks to a tighter pattern for a lot longer. It's going to increase your odds as well. So it's a phenomenal product. And then obviously you guys seen treason. I'm trying to get treason more down here in Florida because I'm telling you, their early season camo, it's unmatched. Like, I've got video of a deer sniffing my arm during turkey season, and I've got a hen standing on my lap and had no idea I was there.
Huh.
And like, dude, that camo pattern is just hands down in my opinion, it's the best camo pattern on the market. And it's a third of the cost of Sitka. So it's like,
Sick is
I'm like,
expensive. Sick is very expensive.
well, and not only that, but see the quality that you get with treason, you get more bang for your buck because you're getting really good quality. Like this is my third or fourth season with treason, and I'm still on the same one. Like it's very durable, very dependable, extremely warm. But I run very hot anyway, so I don't wear a whole lot of layers because I like to be cold or cool. I hate sweating, and I live in Florida, so imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't even imagine trying to
I
wear
think you're in the wrong spot.
what?
What's
I
that?
think you're in the wrong spot.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not looking forward to
Well,
this
I'm
early
born
season,
and raised.
man.
Yep.
It's going to be too warm.
Well, I usually don't hunt in Florida because, for one, the deer down here are really, really small, and they kill everything. It's like, man, if they stop hunting, if they put a size limit on deer besides a 6-inch spike,
Mhm.
we'd have better horn deer. You ain't gonna have big body deer down here, but you'd have better horns. But
Yeah, I mean, I've seen,
Spike, that's my trophy buck.
yeah, like I've seen some decent bucks killed out of Florida. I think there was like a 150 or something, or it was either 130 or 150 killed last year on the
Yeah.
border of Florida and Alabama. And
Yep.
I mean, just seeing that, I was like, damn, because I've always heard what you just said. You know, Florida's got pretty small sized bucks.
well,
And
if you kill 140-pound deer down here, you done something.
wow.
And they're like German shepherds with antlers, dude. They are. They're tiny down here, but I mean that's nothing against Florida. It's just if you look, everybody was like, if you look at it, it's all about evolution,
Mhm.
and it really is, because if you go, the further you go up north, the bigger the animals get.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be bigger to survive the winter.
Yep.
And down here, we might have 3 days that's below freezing.
Yeah.
So you don't really need to be that big to survive the winter down here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Chicago, man, and like I remember as a kid before I moved here, because I think I moved here when I was 6 or 7, and me and my dad, which surprisingly enough, he was in Vietnam too. My dad was pretty old. I think when he passed, he was like 76, and
Yeah,
I'm
my
only
dad's
28.
my dad would be 73 in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, that generation, man, it's totally different, like
Oh yeah.
night and day. But
Tell
yeah.
me about it, because my dad, oh my God, he is cantankerous. I love
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Like, there's nothing I wouldn't do for him, and he knows that. But oh my God, is he cantankerous?
Oh yeah, my dad, dude, he was a hard ass. I loved him, but he was a hard ass. But yeah, when I was a kid, we would go to this nature preserve by our house and we'd watch deer because I've always, been into them. And I remember moving to Georgia, and we would go up to Lake Lanier. And back then, I don't think it's like this now, but back then they would have deer that they would walk up to the car and you could just feed them. And I was 8 years old, and my dumbass hopped out of the car. There was a nice 10 point, like a big deer. And because I'd been feeding him all day, I walked up and wanted to pet him, and it was in the rut. And sure enough, he put his head down, started scraping and blowing and, snort wheezing and stuff. Mom ripped me up out of the car, or out of the way, and threw me in the car and was like, "You could have just died." And I was like, "But he's so much smaller than what's up in Illinois that I would have been fine." And so yeah, man. I mean, the deer down here are definitely smaller. But what? What are you doing?
But no, I looked at you when you said you're so much smaller. I was like, you just thump them in the nose.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, I mean, we've seen what Seek One's done, and they've killed giant deer around here. And, I did hear some story about they brought deer from like Ohio or Indiana or Illinois or whatever down here back in like the 50s.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you're talking 300+ pound deer up there. That's hard to find here.
Yep. So, and that's the thing, like, and I will tell you another thing in this industry, it don't matter how good you do, like, you do everything by the book, you do everything legal, you do everything, and you're killing a free range big whitetail, and I do some urban hunting too, like especially in Indiana. I got one of my spots in Indiana. It's a little 40-acre tract. It's actually or what do you call it? Arboretum.
Mm-hmm.
So they raise trees and get rid of the invasive species and all that stuff. And like, it's great. And the landowners, they're the nicest older couple you ever met in your life. Like, they're incredible.
Yeah.
And the old woman, she calls the bucks rubbers. She's like, you need to get you some of them rubbers. And I'm like, hold on a minute. Like,
oh no.
dude, but they are great people. I actually just talked to her the other day and asked her if she can refresh the batteries in my camera that's there. But dude, I've got some studs that's on her place, but nobody hunts there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so the urban thing is great, but like I said, no matter how good you do and how successful you are, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, oh, well, you bought that deer and put that deer out there, or you did something illegal, or you did that. No, like, seriously, if you want to question me, go right ahead. Like, we got it on film, so even if I did something wrong, I'm not getting out of it.
Yeah.
So by all means, like, haters always going to hate.
Yep. I mean, I've touched on that a few times. Like when we had Trent from Chest Thumper on, we were talking about the hunting community. And
about Trent. Trent's awesome.
Oh, I love Trent, dude.
Like, Trent does the social media for math.
Yeah.
And he is, me and him, put it this way, just ask him honestly, obviously outside of this podcast, ask him what he thinks about me, because Brandon, we went to Pennsylvania to Carbondale for their mass shoot up there because they finally started coming out east. And dude, Freedom, what was it? Camp Freedom, phenomenal piece of property.
Mm-hmm.
And great. I mean, it was a great shoot. Like, we had so much fun, but Brandon, we get there and Brandon's like, hey, he goes, I got a job for you and Bryce. And I was like, all right, what's that? And he goes, I need you to go find me kegs and a bartender that can serve the beer for 3 hours, Friday night and Saturday night. I was like, all right, on it. Dude, we wasn't gone like an hour and a half, and I called him. I was like, done. And he told all his guys, he goes, I knew I sent the right two people after that. But dude, we went up there. We had so much fun. But then, we met Trent in Rome, Georgia.
Yeah.
That was their first out east event. We met him there, and great dude. We have the mass crew is phenomenal. And if you've never been to a mass event, I highly suggest that this year when they come back to Rome, go. Because
we are planning on it. We already made plans with Trent. We're doing it.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. You better be prepared to walk, because they don't put on these 3D shoots like you got 55 targets within 100 yards by 100 yards. Like, some of their courses are like 3, 4, 5 miles.
Fine with me.
And it's in, dude, we had people that was there and they were like, the hell with tack. We're not doing tack anymore. They're like, this is the real deal. And then not only that, but they have the world record course.
Yeah, I want to shoot that so bad.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So the world record course is absolutely phenomenal, because you're literally, like, Brandon spent a ton of money having exact replicas built of these animals' antlers. And not just the antlers, but the antlers and the horns, because you got pronghorn sheep. You're shooting at the 29 North American Grand Slam.
Mm-hmm.
And you're taking the exact same shot that hunter took that animal at. And if there's actually, the longest shot, I think, is 55 yards, and that's on a polar bear.
Yep.
So if you can't hit a polar bear at 55 yards, go back to the range. But they're actually, there's some of them, because the one hunter.
Wait a minute. Can't hit a polar bear at 55 yards. Who was it that stuck it in a tree?
We're not going to that right now.
I'll say it wasn't me. I don't know who you're talking about, but
he watched my episode and I was like, shit. But you're shooting at, what was we shooting at? A raccoon or something in a tree. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm telling you, but when you're shooting in the mountains, dude, it's crazy, because you're different elevations. They got one shot literally. When you come up to shoot, you're like this.
Oh man.
Like, it's straight down. It's phenomenal. But we was doing that, and it was, we met Brandon and everything, and we became really good friends with him. And dude, I support Brandon and everything he does. But you're shooting at world records on that. I mean, exact world records, and you're taking the exact same shot that person shot at, which is that goes to show just how good of a hunter they were to get that close to that animal. And it's incredible, man. It really is. It's a lot of fun, and not only that, but they do a lot. So we'll be in Rome, we'll be in Carbondale again this next year, and we look forward to it because, dude, it's a hell of a time. You guys already met me, I have no filter, and I'm kind of the life of the party. Like last year, I told Bryce, he sent me a text message. He's like, "Where'd you go?" I was like, "I'm in the truck." I was like, "Take me back." And I was like, "I don't want to make an ass out of myself." And then Brandon comes up to me with like what's left of one keg, and he was like, "Hey Joe," I was like, "What's up?" And he goes, "Here's breakfast." And I was like, "Okay."
Best way to start the day. I'm excited for it, man.
We have a hell of a time, and seriously, let's coordinate. Maybe, I don't know where you guys are at in Georgia, but I'm coming up from Florida, so I can come up there and meet you guys, and you guys can follow us in. And
we're only like 2 hours away. We're not that far.
So I can run the drone and everything else of you guys coming in, get you guys some footage too that you guys need. So
hell yeah, that'd be awesome, dude. Because like I'm looking forward to it because next September I'm supposed to be going to Colorado for my first mule deer hunt, and so
okay, hold on. You're not used to high elevations.
Not really, no. That's why I want to do it.
You're saying next September, not this coming September?
No, next year.
So I would, at the very least, probably January, February, I would order. It's on Amazon. It's called a high altitude training mask.
Okay.
Get that and start walking around the block with it. Actually, the best thing to do, what I did, is go to the gym and get on the Stairmaster, because that's all you're doing. You're going climbing. Get on that and put that mask on and train, because I'm telling you what, it helped me when I went to Colorado not last September, the September before. Dude, we went to MAF, and then we came back the next year. Oh my God. I had a hard time coming down the mountain the first year. Like, it was bad, and I was out of shape, like big time. But then I started training and did that high altitude training mask and everything else. Dude, I was running up the mountain. And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, thank God. And then we had some guys that I was with that was part of FTO at the time, and they were like trying to incorporate like a still hunt. And I'm like, come on, dude, we walk 100 yards. And they're like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I got all the camera equipment and everything. I'm like, let's go. Like,
yeah. I mean, I've been out there a few times. I went fishing out there with my uncle, who's the one that's taking me. And remind me after this, I'll send you a picture of the buck he killed last year. I mean, it was a stud.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, going up there, and I think we went to Colorado Springs. We went to part of the national park out there, and I forget exactly where we were. But I've also been to Estes Park. And so going up there, and we hiked that mountain they got where you can feed like the chipmunks and stuff.
Yep.
I felt it. I definitely felt it. So yeah, I've been looking at like ways to train and stuff, and I'm going to look into that, because the last thing I want to do is go up there and then,
get altitude sickness.
Yeah, get that, or have like a giant muley in front of me and I just can't even breathe because I've never done it,
But your heart's going to be pumping hard enough if you get to draw back on one anyway. So
yeah,
better shape. And that's another thing that we try to do, because we met we got the Hunt List Eat guys. They are great. I mean, they are phenomenal. I wear the short shorts too, proudly. But it's just military PT shorts. So I mean, we're used to wearing those. But then we got the Wilderness PT, and he is great. And I'm sure Trent can tell you all about him. But I mean, he does like he incorporates like still hunting out here in the Midwest and, out east, we're still hunting. You don't necessarily have to be in shape to climb up a tree stand and sit for hours.
Yeah.
But you also need to be in shape when you're trying to drag that deer out by yourself or something, because otherwise it makes it harder. So he incorporates that. So everything from Mountain Archery Fest to Treason to J Rose Lures, which if you guys fish, check out J Rose Lures. Phenomenal people. He actually started a company for his sons that are, when they first started, were 9 and 11, and they've won like 3 fishing tournaments in Ohio. Like, phenomenal kids.
Wow.
And they kind of go for what we are, getting the kids in the outdoors. So yes, 100% hands down, they got my support. But everything that we do, like, that's what I love about FTO, is that we're not restricted to one thing or another. Like Bow Hunter Die, great guys. You know, Justin and all them guys are great. You know, I meet them every year, talk to them and hang out with them at ATA and stuff, but they're restricted to archery.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're broad, you know, we're hunting, we're fishing, we're motorcycle riding, you know, get outside. You know, some of these people, it's like, oh man, I'd love to do that. Well, then get off the couch and go do it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you know, like, and I told people, I'm like, hey, if you guys want somebody to do something with y'all, call me. Like, I don't have a problem driving. I mean, hell, since May, I've put 13,000 miles on my truck. I don't mind driving.
Lord.
And
Yeah, you drove to Indiana after the show, didn't you?
Yeah, I never made it to Indiana because seriously, I don't know if you guys remember, but my legs were jacked.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
I was like, I didn't have my side by side, and I was like, well, we're going to go stay with our one of our field staff, Jacob. We went and stayed at his house, and I was like, I'm going to see how I feel in the morning. Dude, I couldn't even get out of bed hardly. I was like, oh yeah, we're not going.
Dang.
I thought you got that velvet up there in Indiana this last week.
Well, that wasn't this past week. That was the 3-4 weeks ago.
You liar.
But hey, I did kill it in Indiana. So,
True.
but
All right.
but that's the thing, is like I go up there a lot. Like, I make a lot of trips back and forth. But that personal trip, it kind of sucked because I wanted to take my son, but he was kind of butthurt that we didn't get to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, dude, if I get out there and I can't move, or I pull something even worse, like, it's gonna be bad. So
Yeah, you got to drag me out.
yeah.
Man.
Dude,
that's I wanted to go to Indiana a lot to try hunting up there, just because, you know, we had Dustin Huff on the podcast earlier this summer, and super cool dude, man, and his story is insane, just killing the biggest whitetail in America and all of that out of Indiana. He didn't even know that deer was there. Hey buddy.
that's of FTO right here.
It's the hardest worker right there, man.
That's right.
That's your trip, dude.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I forgot to tell you too, kind of switching gears, but my daughter told me a few months ago she wants to get a bow so she can kill her first deer.
Okay.
So she's too little to pull one back that's, you know, strong enough to get a deer, but
Right.
can't see it. I've got a crossbow over here that I'm thinking about giving her and letting her put the smackdown on one, because I mean, we have so many spots this year that there's no reason why she shouldn't be able to.
Dude,
And
absolutely.
I'm gonna video it. I'm gonna do all that, and I mean, it just again leads into what you were saying earlier about getting the kids out there, you know, because that is, I feel like, more important than killing a 200-inch whitetail, killing a 250-inch muley, you know, a 400-inch bull, like all of that. That's cool, but getting the kids out there.
Yeah, let me tell you something right now. I will never shame anybody for killing a deer. If you're in a stand and you're happy with what you're taking, I'm happy for you. Like, you'll never hear me say, oh, you should have gave him another year or gave him 2. Man, until, like I told you in the podcast there, I just started trophy hunting because I got the deprivation tags.
Mhm.
So I got deer meat. I used to, that's all I did was meat hunt. If a doe walked out, I'd shoot a doe. If a spike walked out and I don't care. I'm putting meat in the freezer because I'm going to make sure my family's got something to eat.
Yeah.
But now I've started trophy hunting, and that last year was the first year that I did. And I'm like, you know, now I'm starting to focus on managing the size of the deer and stuff like that on my properties, which is fine. But you're never going to hear me say to anybody, you know, and I'll be the first one if I see a comment on your all's post or somebody like, oh, you should have gave him another year, gave him another 2 years to grow. I'm like, dude, you see the smile on that kid's face or the smile on that guy's face or the smile on that woman's face? That's what it's about. It's a tradition. And if they're happy with what they're shot, be happy for them. You'll never hear me in a million years say, oh man, you should, why'd you kill him? He's so small. Man, piss off.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, we touched on that with Trent's episode, man, because I told him, I'm like, my buddy Thor killed 3 bucks last year. He had an extra tag. I forget how. I think it was like a quota hunt or something, but he killed a really nice, 9-point. And everyone was like, oh man, good job. He posted a picture of a spike he killed and everyone's hating on it. I'm like, dude, what? And I went on there. I'm like, dude, it's just that he killed a deer and he's happy. Why the hell do y'all care? I mean, it's not like it's your property. You don't pay to be there. You don't pay for a club membership on that club because it was on a club, I think. And I'm like, if you're not hunting there, you have no say. And even if you did hunt there, he's happy. Who cares?
Is the deer legal? If the deer's legal, thumbs up, buddy.
Exactly. And it's just, I hate how toxic it can get. And, Trent had a point. Like, he said he didn't think the community is toxic, but he said social media. But I mean, that kind of is what we see every day.
Yep.
Is social media,
And social media kind of plays a role in that. Like I said, it goes back to what I said earlier, where technology is a good thing, but yet it could be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, what you're saying right now, and this is what, we're going to touch base real quick. What we touch base with the Birmingham show is the thrill of the outdoors. They're giving the hunting back to the small guys. And that's one thing I support 100%, because all these other guys, they want to be like Michael Waddell. They want to be like T-Bone. They want to be like Bill Jordan and all these other guys. Or they want to be like, the Buck Commanders. Like, hold on a second. Not everybody can afford to kill a deer like that. So everybody's focusing on that, but yet that's all you see on social media. Yeah. My thing is the camaraderie, and JD said this, the camaraderie needs to come back to this industry. We need to be able to be like, hey, I want to be able to go to a hunting camp, and if Jason Aldean comes up, well, my hometown's where Chipper Jones was born and raised.
Yeah.
Like, I know his dad was my 9th grade math teacher. Like, I know the family. I know him. I know them all. Great people. But the thing is the camaraderie needs to come back to this industry. People need to stop shooting and being so disappointed and putting so much pressure on themselves that, should I let that buck go? The only way you should let a buck go if he's a legal buck is if you got one in there that you're targeting and he's bigger. That's the only reason. But if you shoot a legal deer and you're happy with it and you're putting food on the table for your family, I don't care.
Yeah,
I will support you 100% and I will pat you on the back. Hell, I'll help you skin it. But the thing is, the camaraderie is getting lost, and that's what needs to come back. And people, what I love about Thrill of the Outdoors, bringing that back in.
Yeah. JD, what were you saying? We couldn't hear you.
100%. Absolutely agree.
Yeah. And it's just sad, man. Like Waddell touched on it, in our episode, and that dude, man, I'm telling you, him, T-Bone, and Nick are the guys that I'm just like right up here. Like whatever they say, I take it as one step below gospel, right? And, that's why I like them so much, because they are just exactly who they seem to be on the show, and they'll tell you like it is. And if you don't like
they're real people. They're real people. They don't use that, like they don't use their fame. They don't use their status for anything. The property I got in Georgia is right next to Michael Waddell's.
Yeah, I heard some stories about that.
Great people. And that's the thing. That's what people need to realize is like, look, if people just pull their head out of their ass for a little bit and look at what it is for what hunting and what this industry actually is, it's about, hey, camaraderie. It's about teaching the next generation. It's about getting out of the house and doing something that you love to do and actually supporting your fellow neighbors that's doing it. This industry would be unstoppable. And it is. It's a big industry. But the thing is, with social media and everybody's like, oh man, I got to kill a deer like that. Or, they're like, oh man, I seen this guy kill a 190-inch whitetail in Kansas in public ground. And then they go there. That's what they expect to see.
Yep.
But the thing is, it's like, I remember growing up watching Bill Jordan and everything else growing up on the Outdoor Channel. And I'm like, okay, so what went in? You just don't get out of the truck, sit up in a tree, and a 180-inch deer walks by. What went into place to getting that deer? Like, how did you pattern this deer? How did you see this deer? How did you find out this deer was there? And then how did everything lead up to you being successful?
Yep.
That's what I want to teach. I don't care about, if you're happy shooting, as long as it's a legal deer, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
If you're the one pulling the trigger and you're happy with it, I'm happy with it.
Well, that's a big thing too, because like a lot of people, me included, when I first started, man, when I went to my buddy's property in Rockdale County, and he had some giants on there, and it was my first hunt. Ended up killing like probably a 50-inch 8-point, but it was my first deer, and I was hooked after that. But he was showing me these photos, and I remember getting in the blind, and I look at him, I was like, hey, I kill one of these big deer, you won't care, right? He was like, I won't care, but I can almost tell you it's not going to happen. And I was like, oh no, it's going to happen. Never happened. And I think the thing that we get, people that are new to hunting, they watch these shows, like Buck Commander, like Bone Collector, like, Realtree and all that. And I love those shows. I love those guys, but they can't show you the work that it takes to go into finding those deer. Nope. And then you get, my Rude Awakening was obviously the first hunt I went on, but then you get shows like Seek One, I know 4610, a couple others, Hunting Public, all of those guys. And they actually get to show you like, hey, we don't just walk in the woods and this giant shows up. Like, it takes time to figure that out. And killing 150-inch deer in Georgia, it's one of the hardest things you can do. I've only had one or maybe two on camera in 5 years.
Yep.
And I never killed them. I mean, it's not easy. And that's, going back to the camaraderie thing. Like, I feel like people need to get more grounded and stop trying to kill Bambi's dad all the time. I mean, look, I want to kill a giant deer as much as the next guy. But,
dude, I'll kill Bambi in a heartbeat, because you know what? Some bitch is going to be tender.
I've heard that. I'm glad my wife doesn't listen to this. She would kill me. Oh, man.
The thing is, like I said, man, the camaraderie needs to come back, and then people need to be more realistic with their hunts.
Yep.
And they really, honest to God, they really do. And the thing is like, just support one another. Be like, hey, and dude, and anybody who watches this, anybody who listens to this, reach out to FTO. Like, if you want somebody to come show you something, or somebody to come hunt with you, or somebody to come film you, or somebody just to come hang out and shoot the shit, give me a call. Like, I have no problem, and neither does Bryce. We'll go wherever and we'll do things. But I mean, it's just, you got to have people that's got the drive that wants to do it. And
look, as long as Bryce doesn't try and come out here and show me how to shoot a bow, I'll be fine.
Bryce, that was a low blow. But you know what? I love Bryce to death, but you know what? It all happens to the best of us. I mean, seriously, we got in the heat of the moment. We was having a good time, and we just, that's just one of them things that was just overlooked. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, holy crap. You should have seen Reese behind the camera when he went to pull that next arrow out. Oh my God. Because you seen me look at the bow, and I was like, I don't see no cracks. I don't see anything majorly wrong. I was like, I would trust it. And Bryce was like, well, I'll do it. And you should have seen Reese. Reese had the camera, and he was like this. he was like, oh my God. And then we shot and everything, but then we realized that it messed up his drop away rest. Yeah. So he put it up, and it was just one of them bad. But you know what? Out of that one bad thing, a lot of good things happened. People started asking us questions. People started asking us, hey, what happened with that bow? What did you do to get it fixed? How did you inspect it afterwards? What do you look for? Stuff like that. And it was like, all right. So yeah, it was kind of a, you making lemonade out of lemons, but that was some pretty damn good lemonade, if you don't mind me saying. But that's the thing that needs to come, that's the thing, don't be afraid to make a mistake.
And it's all about camaraderie with that too. Coming together and talking about it and having a good time and teaching each other. That's
Yep.
where it all falls back down to the camaraderie of the hunting and of the brotherhood.
Yeah, well, and even guys like T-Bone, man, who I consider like the archery guru, he learns new shit every day.
Yep.
You're never gonna know everything about archery and hunting. It's not gonna happen. And
Nobody knows everything about everything. You're
Exactly.
always going to continue to learn. You're always going to sit there and learn. So, as long as you can accept, I can accept constructive criticism and somebody tell me, hey, I think you ought to do it this way, or I think you ought to do this or whatever. Well, give me a reason why. And then when they come up and they can present it in a very professional and a very understanding way and be like, okay, what you say makes sense. So let me try that.
Yep.
And then who knows? That might be what we need. But people nowadays, man, they're just so butthurt about everything. And it's like, good God, it's like a bunch of sissified people nowadays, And social media is to blame for that because, dude,
sure.
Now you can disrespect somebody and not get punched in the mouth. When I was growing up, you disrespect somebody, you better be ready to tote an ass whipping.
Oh, yeah. 20 years ago, man, you say some wrong shit to somebody, you might be missing a tooth. Now, you can just say whatever you want.
Now it's like, oh, I'm unfollowing you. Ooh, okay, I'm going to lose so much sleep over it.
Man.
But
getting back to the bow spider thing real quick, that I know it's got different pucks and the whole puck system and harness system and all that stuff, but that little attachment bracket that goes on the bow, how much does that actually alter the bow at all as far as weight or anything?
It's less than 2 ounces, dude. It don't affect nothing.
Okay.
And I've put it on the bottom of my bow, put it on the top of my bow, put it in the middle of my bow. It does nothing.
Yeah, I may need to get one of those because
I've been looking at those for the past year and a half. I love those things.
I just need something that's easier to climb up the tree with. And
I'll get a couple. Y'all just send me you guys' address and everything, and I'll get a couple sent to y'all. And y'all try them out and everything. Just make sure you represent FTO and Bow Spider like you guys do everything else, and try them out because I'm telling you, dude, they're a game changer.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to do that.
Really?
But I know you're wanting to wrap things up here in a minute, so I just wanted to touch base real quick. Did you guys see our last post?
I did. I've been so busy, dude. What was it?
Have you ever had a deer teabag your camera?
Oh, I did see that. Oh my God, dude. I was cracking up when I saw that.
I saw that one. I think those. I think it was that one.
Dude, I got that. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, but then I seen the pictures. He was like standing beside it. And then all of a sudden he like turned and that camera is really low. And that camera's in Indiana.
Yeah.
And he turned around because the reason I asked is because now my phone is blowing up with people liking the post and everything. But dude, and then I was like, oh, I got the perfect song for that. And I was like, sometimes you feel like a nut.
Man, yeah, your Instagram shit, man, it's hilarious. I saw that turkey video where you had the filter on, and I think you were like, I just want to kill a turkey, but the turkeys are coming out. And then I'm like, man, that is classically funny. It's so funny.
But dude, it was so stressful, dude. It was like, put that filter on and everything. And then I did the one phrase from what was that? The Heat with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
And the captain was like, he goes, you know how old I am? She's like, 55. He goes, I'm 40 years old and I got a 4-year-old son that calls me grandpa. So the reason I did that, that's the reason I did that one, because dude, turkey hunting, that's one of the most rewarding yet one of the most stressful hunts that you can ever be on.
Yeah, I haven't gone. I say every year I'm gonna go, but then I don't like the heat. So maybe I'll go next year. We'll see. But I know I need to go. It's just I'm gone so much in deer season, man, and so busy with that all the time that once that's over, I owe the family a lot of family time.
It takes a lot of balance. It really does.
Yeah.
And if you got and I will say this, if you got a supportive spouse, that comes in very handy too. And that's another thing. Start fighting. How I introduce people in hunting is dove hunting. Dove season, you don't have to be quiet. You don't have to be all camoed up and everything. You don't have to sit still. hell, we usually have a cookout and everything else, and we're all out there bullshitting and everything anyway, and we have a good time.
Yeah.
I started squirrel hunting. That's how I started my son.
Yep, squirrel hunting, dove hunting, anything that's fun and interactive.
Yep.
And then they start getting a niche for it, and then they start seeing you bringing home deer, and then they like, hey, I want to go with you.
Yeah.
And then can you sit still for a little bit? No.
It's a learned skill, that's for sure.
It really is.
The only time I ever sit still.
Yeah, right. That when I'm driving. But look, I don't want to hold you too long. I'm pretty sure I heard Tiffany just running upstairs, so I need to go check on that. But look, dude, we need to do this again. We'll carve out some time during season, kind of do like a season update with you. And you know, we'll definitely try those bow slings out, and we'll obviously promote FTO and Bow Fighter.
Not bow slings.
What is it?
I said bow spider, not bow slings.
Okay, Bow Fighter. Sorry. I don't know. Whatever. But
like I said, this is fun. I enjoy talking with you guys and everything. And, you know, and for everybody who's watching or listening, you guys make sure you guys go check us out on social media. Don't beat me up too bad because our website is kind of down and we're redoing it right now. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but go check out our social media. You see all of our sponsors and everything on there, and go check them out. I mean, phenomenal products. That's how we are successful. That's how, you know, we use their stuff and we truly believe in them. And, you know, if you guys are close to Pennsylvania or come up to Pennsylvania for our next show, come see us. And till next time, you know, make sure you guys are out there feeding that obsession, whatever it is, just get outside and feed it.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Not a problem. You guys are great. It was great meeting y'all in Birmingham, and it's been a pleasure talking to y'all. I look forward to doing this again. So maybe we can do a little preseason update, and then we can do a mid-season update, and then a final season update if you guys wanted to.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, dude.
So let's do it. Let's grow it, man.
Awesome. Appreciate it, buddy.
Not a problem. You guys take care.
Me too.